Good morning. It's Friday morning. Just wanted to post an update since we haven't really been keeping up on that lately for like the past 4 months. We've been busy finishing out the first third of our grow space so that Corinne could start growing her microgreens down at the grow space in the new front part with all the nice little conveniences that's going to make her life so much simpler than how we used to do it. And at this point, we have 2 new racks built. Well, actually, the old rack plus the new one. So that'll double our capacity at this point for microgreens. We have room for 4 or 5 more racks in there. So she's got that going strong right now. And we're doing some marketing on top of that for the microgreens. Me, myself, I've got a lot of infrastructure projects scheduled for this year, or that have been working on already this year. One was the new grow space down at 2418 Central Avenue at the old Pickle Barrel building. Throughout this week, I've been kind of working on the garden, or gardens, I should say. Yesterday and today, I was working on what we call Heidi's garden. That's a couple blocks down from our house. Convivium had set it up originally, and they ran it for a couple years. But it got to the point where it was just a little too far out of the way and inconvenient. Just having to go back and forth amongst everything, getting tools, bringing supplies down. It's a little much. I mean, it's hard to do satellite growing. When you have gardens spaced all over the city, it's a great concept to have these gardens scattered throughout a neighborhood to utilize available space in a spot that's not really applicable for larger gardens. Problem is, you spend a lot of time going to and from either where your home base is or from garden to garden. In this case, our main gardens are up on the old Holy Ghost ball field, and then we have a garden next to our house that we actually share with Convivium Urban Farmstead. And we've got our new grow space, and now we've I think this is our third year, second or third year that we've been gardening in quote unquote Heidi's garden. Heidi is the owner of the property. And it's going well. We refertilized it last year. We added a lot of mulch for our walkways, which you can see here. We did all the mulching last year. We ran out of a little time up towards that end, and I know that looks like a big nice weed patch, but it's not. We just got to get in there and dig out the weeds, and then we can start planting. The infrastructure projects have pretty much pushed a lot of that stuff behind, so we're a little slow in getting plants in the ground this year, but Corinne's got all of her seed starts going or almost ready to go down at the grow space. But again, we are, like, especially for our lettuce and things, we are a little bit behind the power curve, but sometimes you just got to prioritize projects, and other things have to get pushed back. Unfortunately, the infrastructure is what we need right now, so we can be productive in a timely fashion. One of the biggest things that is time consuming for Corinne and I, mainly Corinne, is watering. So irrigation is key, both down at Heidi's garden, at our garden, and then at the ball field. The irrigation system is going to be a huge blessing for us. It's a drip irrigation system. It was designed by Hooks Point Irrigation. They're out of Central Iowa. They're an awesome couple to work with. She was so helpful. I gave her a SketchUp drawing. I can do 2D and 3D modeling, computer modeling. So I gave her a design of our garden spaces in SketchUp, and laid in all the plants to size and spacing. And she went ahead and figured out everything that we need and boxed it up. She was super fast, super efficient, awesome customer service. If you have a question, she's on it. She helped us. I've got a little experiment sizing pumps for GPMs, gallons per minute, and pressures and all that stuff, head pressures. But sometimes it's just better to, go with what the experts say. And her and her husband were awesome. So if you do need a drip irrigation system, rather than go out and buy something off the shelf at Menards or Lowe's that's going to have extra stuff in there that you don't need, or stuff that's not the right size or the right drip capacity, not the right heads for the emitters, if you're going to do a little bit of spray irrigation, go with Hooks Point. You can find them on Facebook and the internet, Hooks Point Irrigation. They're not paying us for advertising. I'm just dropping their name all over the place because we had such good luck, and I'm really impressed with the products that they sent us. So I don't think we covered it last year, but we put one down. We put a whole system in our garden next to our house there. I just did this garden, or I am in the process of doing this garden. There's the main line that kind of goes up to the spigot on the house. That's got an inline filter and a pressure regulator in it. Feeds all of this line here, and then we did some elbows there and over there, and then continued it down. So right now, yesterday, one of the teachers at the school I work at, her husband has been helping me on just, sometimes you just need an extra hand. And so he's been helping me with that extra hand, and he's just super cool to work with, man. I like having him around. It's nice to talk to him. He's got a completely different background than I do. So it's kind of cool, the conversations that we can get into, and we kind of share, different experiences. He's a really good guy, and I really enjoy working with him, and he's been a huge help, because during the daytime, nobody that I know is able to give me a hand. So sometimes things get a little awkward or a little overwhelming when you're trying to do it yourself and trying to figure out ways to finagle something to hold something else. And so he's been doing a lot of voluntary work. He's got a huge heart. He's been helping other people out that need help. He's been helping me. But we got all these emitters in here. Each drip line's got its own valve. Whoops, there we go. This is the drip tape. This supply line's pretty heavy duty. You can hit that with a weed eater and it's not going to hurt it. But the drip lines, you don't want to hit those with the weed eater. But yeah, this I think is 6-inch space. All the drip tape that they offer comes in very, very different spacing of the nicks in the line, and then how much water capacity it can carry through. So do yourself a favor if you want a professional drip irrigation system that's basically in price really comparable to what you can get from Menards or Lowe's or Home Depot. I would go with Hooks Point. Not too far away. Shipping is easy. Now, on some items, you do have to kind of buy in bulk, but for what we need, it worked out great. So we're putting. That's what I'll be doing this weekend. I'm going to hopefully finish this drip tape down here today, and then tomorrow I'll be up on the farmstead, and we'll get the whole new irrigation system installed up there on the first two gardens, the educational garden, and I think that's it. The community garden spaces, I think we're going to just have hand watering available for that, unless those people wanted to put their own drip system in. That's an option. But oh, look at that goldfinch. You probably can't see it, but he's sitting in the chain link fence right there. Pretty cool. Lilacs are out. All I can smell today is lilacs. It's really good. Corinne's going to be putting seedlings in the ground this weekend, getting things started growing, getting back into that loop rather than just us building stuff out constantly. I'm trying to finish all of our build out. I've got one water cistern to put a second coat of paint on. We wanted to paint our new water systems because the UV rays will degrade that polyethylene that the tanks are made out of, and we want to make sure that they last, they don't crack, we take good care of them, and we don't want, they're kind of like a translucent or opaque white, so we don't want the sunlight, you know, beating down in there and causing algae growth, because if that algae gets sucked up in the pumps, it ends up being pumped through our drip lines, and that clogs the emitters, and that's a problem. Then you got to flush them out and all that stuff. So we're going to resolve that by painting the tanks real dark. Like I said, I've painted 3 already. I've got 1 more that needs a second coat, and I'll get that done this weekend. It'll be real quick. I got a nice airless sprayer that I invested in. It's been coming in real handy on the farm. After that's done, next week I'll be milling up some reclaimed Douglas fir that I got out of the old Kmart store, thanks to my buddy Lucas. He was helping to demo that store and gave me a call and scored me a bunch of free old growth Douglas fir, and so we're going to be milling that up for some big tomato trellises. I built 9 of them last year for our string trellises. I'm going to build 9 more this year, just because it worked out really well. So we're gonna put more of those in. So anyway, those are the 2 big projects I have coming up, and then I'm probably going to swing back into working on the kitchen space, the processing space at our 2418 location, so that we can start processing vegetables, get our freeze dryer set up, start freeze drying, and then start offering that service to the public as well for any of your goods that you want freeze dried. That space has got to be inspected, so it's got to be food safe. So we're going to be regulated by the state of Iowa. Yeah. So other than that, that's about all I got. It's a little longer video, kind of rambling video, but I don't really have anything impressive to share with you other than projects I'm working on. Unfortunately, I won't be a big part of this growing process this year. I'm more focused on the build out end and the expansion, things like that. You know, just all these side things that you have to have in order to get where you want to be. So Corinne's going to be the master gardener this year, just like last year, and I'm going to be the master builder, just like last year, and that's how we're going to roll this year until we can both focus on the gardening and the growing. So, all right, guys. Microgreens are still in. I think we should have rhubarb coming available soon. We've already got strawberry blossoms, so hopefully we'll have some strawberries. Yeah, so, all right. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching.